Så da vi klar for øvetips nummer 6. I dag har jeg med meg en gjest. Ikke den gjesten her, men en som noen av oss kjenner. La oss slippe han inn. Studio GC står der. La oss se om han klar. Hallo!
Hello.
Kan du høre meg? Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine. You're going to meet a friend of mine here.
Okay.
This is my best friend, but she's not going to be here, so she wants to go out.
Help you practice.
Yeah. Okay, Guillem, I just told my viewers on my channel that we're going to get the practice tip number 6 today.
Okay.
From you. Yes, let me hear.
What I'm going to say?
Yeah, what is your if you should give us one of your best practice tips, what would
I was going to say 3 things, but yes.
Okay, you're allowed to get 3. That's good.
Okay. No, I was going to say first I would make sure I plan my practice before I start, and then make sure that I'm in the right mindset, so I'm not distracted, and I book that time, and I'm just there. And the third thing is to listen to the piece before I play it as many times as possible, so I already know what it should sound like and what to look for. And I have this new piece that I'm just starting to practice, so I could use that as a...
Yeah. You want to show us? Or show me?
Yeah. You mean the piece?
Hmm?
The piece, you mean?
Yeah, how you do it, or you...
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, you plan, so the planning is also how to set the time that you set aside for the practice?
Say it again, sorry.
Like you say, first of all, you need to have a plan.
Yes, like I would probably my plan would be I would play through the piece, having a look at what it is, and then planning which sections I need to practice separately and slowly. Like, for example, if there's any double stops, like in this piece, I would practice those bits first, and then any fast sections slowly, and then repeating them. And that would be part of the plan, and also the listening will be part of the plan. You know, before starting to practice, I would definitely make sure that I have listened to the piece first.
And how do you know that you get time for all the things you have planned? You also plan how much time to use on each, or that comes as you go?
Well, let's say let's say I have an hour to practice, so I'm gonna spend the next 20 minutes on those sections, and then see how they are, and then see if there's any other sections I need working on, and whatever I need to do for next session, I can also plan for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. But when those 20 minutes have gone, you go to next part.
I check back at the whole piece,
yeah,
and see which other sections need practicing, and then work on the next few sections. And also part of the planning would be that every 20 minutes I have a rest and I have a stretch.
Okay, that's good. So that's that's number 1, to plan.
Yeah.
And then you said
number 2 would be to make sure that I have that time. I have no distractions, that I'm just here and I'm not going to be distracted by anything as much as possible. And I'm just trying to focus on what I'm playing, trying to focus on my own playing, I think how I'm feeling, how I am responding to the piece, what is it that I need to, being really focused on what I'm doing and not distracted by anything else.
Like for me, it's I can plan for that. I set my phone in ikke forstyrr, no disturbance. But even if I do that, when I have my little stretch, I get this urge inside that I really need to check.
Yes.
What do you do then?
I probably have the same urge, but what would I say? No, that if you have this time that you're going to be practicing, and you make sure that you don't actually go on anything else on your phone, computer, or anything, and you just stay into this. And if there's anyone else in the house or whatever it is, that you stay focused on what it is, and you tell them not to disturb you for this amount of time.
So in a way, you practice not to get disturbed.
Yes, and that's the other thing. You can get, there might be other things going on, and you try not to get disturbed, even if there is distractions around, because other things might happen, like there might be noises or something, and instead of running and checking what it is, unless it's obviously an emergency, you try to just stay focused, even if there's things going on.
Because I find that that's the most difficult thing, actually, because like I get this urge to check the phone and I think, oh, I should not do it, but still I do it. And then there's a message that I need to answer to. Or maybe I get this idea in the head, oh, I have to remember to tell my partner this thing.
You can always write things down if you need to.
Yeah,
You can
it's
always
really
have a notebook to write things down if
notebook,
you need.
yes. So that's allowed in a way, because I also stopped to make notes for my ideas, you know. But that's also a distraction in a way.
Well, I think it's more of a distraction if you keep it in your head, and it keeps on coming back, and it keeps. If you write it down, it goes out of your head, because you put it down and it's there, and it's not here anymore.
It's already there. But it is the way to practice not to get so many thoughts in your head while you're playing, because I would prefer to practice efficiently. I would prefer to keep my thoughts all the practicing, not to think about other things, you know. But
yes,
the days for me, the days are different. Some days there are many thoughts, and some days there are few. Do you have any way of
I think
working
the
on
problem
that?
is. Yeah, no, I understand. I think the problem is believing that you can have a practice without any thoughts, or trying to get that, because that's not going to happen.
No.
And even when you're actually playing in a concert, thoughts will come in and out, and we're not trying to stop the thoughts from coming in and out. We're trying to stop getting attached to those thoughts and trying to do something about them. So if it's something that keeps coming back and it's important, you can write it down. Otherwise, you just let them pass, and you just stay focused on what you're doing. That noise, whether it's in your head or outside, will keep on coming back. There's always something that's going to happen, whether it's in your head or outside. And you need to, like in a concert, you need to make sure that you don't get distracted by things that might happen outside or inside.
So how do you, because
practice is a good way to develop that resistance to react to things that are happening.
It's because I cannot see when I watch, if I have been watching you playing concert or practice, I cannot see all those thoughts. And I cannot see if you choose to act on them or not, you know? And so how do you actually do that when you practice at home and this thought is coming? What is happening inside you then?
Let me put it a different way.
Yeah?
I will go back to that, but in a concert, if I am playing and thoughts come in, like, oh, that, you know, like that section is coming and it's difficult, whatever it is. What I do, I just go back to my breath, and by breathing in and out, just calm while I'm playing, I'm able to just go back to what I'm doing right now and not overthinking or getting distracted by the audience or anything. I just spend a moment to just breathe while I'm playing. So that's something you can do when you practice as well. You know, if there's something that keeps distracting you, just breathe. When you practice, you can actually stop playing for a second and just have a moment to breathe, like 2 or 3 breaths is enough, and then you can go back to it.
Okay. And you think
The
if
other
a
thing
child can do
really
that, like,
important is also focus. It's also very important that we keep the focus. So if you feel like you're losing focus, it's better to have a break and just come back. Otherwise,
because I often see as well with my students, like a child, they are playing a piece, and then they probably start to think about what they're going to eat, or something in Star Wars, or a Lego thing that they're building.
yes.
And in a way, it's the same. And then the piece goes apart.
Yeah.
What would you say to that child? The same, or?
One second. What I would say. to stop and then think about, okay, what is it that you're doing right now? What is it that you need to concentrate? And all the other thoughts can just wait for later. They will come back when you need, if they're important, they will come back. So you don't need to work on think about it now. Just try to keep going back to what you're doing. And if you get distracted, that's fine. Just keep going back to what you're doing every time. Everybody will get distracted at some point.
And you as a teacher as well, you choose not to act on their thoughts. Like,
yeah, not to not to get not to go away, not to lose the focus somewhere else and then stay there. But as soon as you see that you are distracted, try to go back to what you're doing. That would be something that I would definitely teach them and tell them that it's something important that you are working on. Does that make sense?
I ask so much about this because for me, I see it's a thing I need to learn or to practice, but it's quite hard. It's a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
To practice it, but it's very, very important. So that the hour you have.
Yeah, that's good. Now I just want to say for what we're doing today.
Yeah.
So doing 3 things, let's say 2, and let's put the listening in part of the planning, and that will be fine.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that first, and then we can talk about all this later.
Yes, you had the planning and then no distractions.
Yeah, the mindset, being mindfully what you're doing. That's it. And then within the planning is the listening, and it's all the planning and which sections you're going to practice and for how long. That depends on the person, right? But
yes. And now I did not understand. Listening is part of
the planning.
Part of the planning. Okay, so it's not a separate thing.
I think so. Let's just do 2 things. Otherwise, it's going to be too many things to talk about. Also, you want to keep it short, so.
Yeah. We already made a long video.
Yes.
Because like I have a short tip for every week.
Yeah.
So that's why I tried to make you make only 1 tip.
Yes, I understand.
Anyway, and so it's and I think you are good about this finding the mindset.
Yeah.
At least it's some of the most important things I've learned from you.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So, and I'm interested in how to actually learn to be good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, I ruined your plan now because you had the plan of what to say.
Say it again.
I ruined your plan in a way.
No, you haven't.
No, it's fine. Yeah. And then how do you listen?
So, for example, this is a new piece I'm playing. I'm going to play it in a concert next month. So, what for the listening, what I would do if I find a recording, in this case, it's 1 recording for this piece, I would just play it on a loop and just listen to it as many times as possible for, just for a few days. So it gets into your system, and then when you approach the piece, you already, like I got this music 2 days ago. So now I know where, I already know what it sounds like in context with the piano, for example, and I know which sections might be more tricky than others to work on.
And then I have another question for that, because what do you listen for then? Yes, you listen for the tricky parts and how it goes together.
I also listen to how would I play this section or that section. You're listening to somebody's interpretation, which is great, but is that person's interpretation? So I would think about how would I play this section? How would it sound when I play this? What is it that I would do differently, or how could I make this my own version?
Yeah. You listen to it not to copy, but to make it to find your way. Yes, because
I am listening to learn it, and also to not memorize it necessarily, but to have it internal. But then I would then try to make my own interpretation out of it, and also while I'm listening, thinking, I like that, but I think I would do it differently.
It's actually very good advice, because as a Suzuki teacher, I learn my students to listen a lot, to integrate the pieces and to get a quicker way into the pieces. But the teachers and higher at conservatory level, they tell us not to listen.
But it's not true, because if you asked somebody to learn Tchaikovsky violin concerto, they would have heard Menuhin's interpretation and Oistrak's and everybody else's, and then they're not going to tell them not to listen to them, because they're great interpretations, and you can get a lot of ideas from them, and then you can make your own one. No teacher in a conservatory is going to tell you, please don't listen to the Tchaikovsky violin concerto. It doesn't make any sense.
No, but they do. They tell us not to listen, and for me, I hear it, but I would prefer to go listening, because it's so much quicker for my motorics then, and I still can make my own interpretation.
Yeah.
But I like to listen to different recordings and to try out what they do.
Yes.
And it's a history, of different interpretations.
Yeah, exactly. You get different ideas from different people, and you make your own version.
Yes. And then you will sooner pick up if you're playing wrong notes or.
Oh yes, that also helps.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes it might be a mistake in the music, depending on the edition. So you can go and check on different editions afterwards. Like, oh, that note doesn't sound like the one I heard. Or everybody plays it differently. What is it? Why?
So in a way, you could say that like you plan in a mindful way. You plan like with your headspace on, like how to do it, and then during your practice, you make a plan for next day. And when you listen, you also listen with an intention.
Yes.
Not just being a copycat. And then you work on your headspace, how to focus and how to not be distracted. And you also have an attitude towards what to do when thoughts are coming into your head.
You're practicing the muscle of coming back to focusing to what you're doing, whatever happens. It doesn't matter if you get distracted, as long as you are aware and then you come back to what you're doing. That's the principle of mindfulness. It's just whatever happens, just come back, and that's okay.
Right.
No judge what happened, just come back.
So if I should put one or two words on this practice tip, could focus be a good word? Or attention, or what do you, if you would choose one word that goes together for all your three things?
Could you say plan and focus?
Plan and focus, yes. I think actually your planning makes you focus.
Yes, exactly.
When you plan, you know what to do. But because my practice tip number one was plan. Have a plan.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's part of the plan.
That's part of the plan, yes. Okay, you want to have plan and focus?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I write here. Here. So Guillem's practice tip.
Yes, that's good. Just give me a second.
So you can focus. What are you doing?
No, nothing. I'm just making it so I can see it better. Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll recommend to everybody to look into Guillem's ton of videos on different themes and lots of music. And we will see you in Norway in 2025 at least, I think, at our Suzuki workshop in Bergen.
Yeah.
Så jeg sier det på norsk. Guillems tips ha en plan og ha fokus. Og vi ser Guillem i Norge i 2025. Da kommer han til Bergen og underviser på Suzuki-workshopen vår der. Ha det bra. Okay. Takk for i dag. Vi snakkes. Ha det.